Good morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. One of the greatest challenges you'll have in your Christian walk is relationships, because it's one of the greatest challenges in life. Relationships are the sweetest fruit of life, but it can also be the most sour. Relationships are like ships. They go up and they go down. But I wanted to encourage you today, especially for those of you who are watching right now, where there's some friction or some disruption or some estrangement in a relationship. Don't give up on relationships. That's the word for today. Don't give up on relationships. Now, hey, I know that hits hard for some of you because you very necessarily had to leave a relationship that was harmful or abusive. And I get that. I'm not asking you to trust people who are untrustworthy. I'm not asking you to attach yourself to someone who for you would be unhealthy to attach yourself to. I'm talking about those middle of the road relationships. It's a kid. It's a spouse, it's a coworker, and for whatever reason, there's friction and disruption right now, and you've had to rightly distance yourself. And come points in relationships where you have to slow down, but it doesn't mean you give up. You may have to slow down, but it doesn't mean you give up. 2 Timothy chapter 4. Verse 11, Paul's in prison at the end of his life. He's lonely. He's asking his friend Luke to come, or he's asking Timothy to come and bring him some things. And he says, verse 11, Luke alone is with me. Get Mark and bring him with you, for he is very useful to me for ministry. This is an astounding passage that we all talked about in seminary. Insofar that Paul is now saying, this relationship that used to be bad, I'm willing to make it good. He says, Luke alone is with me. He says, bring Mark, get him and bring him with you. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, because a few years before, Mark had deserted Paul, literally left the mission. And it was such a powerful disruption in their relationship that Paul said, I don't want a 10-foot pole between me and the guy, right? But at the end of his life, he's saying, get Mark and bring him with you, for he is useful for ministry. I'll never forget one preacher saying it this way. It was right for Paul to let Mark go, and later on it was right for Paul to bring him back. That's the gospel. There may be times in your relationships where you have to slow down, but it doesn't mean that you give up. I've talked a little bit about me and some of the distance that I went through with my dad over the years after my mom died. We always loved each other, always talked with each other, but there was just a distance. But over the years, we worked that thing out. And usually I'm the one who calls my dad for Father's Day, because it's Father's Day. It's my dad. That's how it's supposed to go. And I call him, Dad, happy Father's Day. This year, though, I went to Canada for Father's Day. Hey? And so I was just busy and had my phone off, getting off the plane. And imagine my surprise when at 8:25 a.m. Sunday morning, my dad beat me to the punch. And he wrote me, Happy Father's Day. I am so proud of you. Stay true to your calling. Tell George hello for me. That's our friend George. I pray for him. Kiss the kids for me and tell April what a jewel she is. 10, 12 years ago, I don't think this text would have been possible, because there came that moment where we both had to slow down. But I'm so grateful that because of the power of the Spirit and his willingness to help us in these moments of disruption in our relationships, that a slow down did not mean give up. And that's my encouragement to you today. For those of you who've had to slow down, don't give up. And that's Hope for Today. I'll see you next time.